Welcome back. We're looking over this T595 bobcat. So far, replaced a few lines, a few solenoids, done a few minor services, replaced the tracks on it, serviced some pins and bushings in the front arm. Getting ready to service these tapered pins. If anybody knows a good way of getting those out of there easily, let me know in the comments. I'm going to try to just cut it through it with the Sawzall and then cut through the inside of the pin the same way that I did the lower pins. But if anybody knows a better way, please let me know in the comments. So far I had to scrape all the rust off of the track housing and repainted it. We replaced this rear idler wheel, was getting flat spots in it, and we serviced the final drive gear oil. Just cleaned up the engine bay, hosed all the mud out of the belly, got all the dirt and rocks out of it. There's a belt inside here that runs the hydraulic hydrostat, and to get to it I had to take this battery out, and there's a hold down on it, and then the battery tray itself, and you can get access to, there's a cover inside here. That cover comes out of the way. You can see the belt and the belt tensioner, and it's an auto tensioner, but it does require adjustments occasionally. And I looked at the belt, inspected it, it was all right, so we just cleaned the housing out and put tension on the belt, put it back together. These engines appear to be pretty good. It's not a Kubota anymore. It's a Daysoon engine now. But from what I understand, they're pretty good. I haven't had any issues out of it yet. It's got around 2,500 hours on it. 2,100. We've removed all the stickers off of it. We're going to repaint. Touch all the paint up. Replace the taillight housing lenses, were broken on both sides. These tracks are from Bridgestone, a company online that I ordered from. If anybody knows, is there a big difference between these Bridgestone tracks and the tracks that you would get if you went down to Bobcat and paid the $2,000 per track? These were online for $1,600 a side. If anybody knows in the comments, let us know. Or if they know a good place to get tracks from in the future. These are the C pattern. These are the 16-inch wide, the extra wide track. They look real nice. And we replaced an idler wheel. The oil started leaking out of it. This one's a little damp. Just keep an eye on them. And we've had to clean it up quite a bit. Had a lot of concrete splattered all over the arms, and we're working on removing all the rust, cleaning all the roughness of it, and painting over it all, cleaning it up, making it look nice again. Replaced a couple hoses. So the cylinders, I'm going to clean all these up, get all the old grease off of them, make them look nice again. That way it's easy to tell if you got any leaks. We've replaced the bushings in here. Going to clean this up as well, get all the grease off it, put a nice coat of paint on it. Same with the step. Like to clean the step up, paint it, make it look nice too. That way when we put it all back together, it look clean. So far, there's a solenoid that I had to replace on the valve body for the lift and tilt. When I'd get in the machine and everything would unlock, but it would not let me tilt the bucket. And after letting it run for a while, it would start working. So there's little solenoids right in here. The one with the black top on it's the one that I replaced, and they're basically, it's just a little electromagnetic metal plunger that locks out the valve to where it won't let it move in or out, and essentially locking out the hydraulic. So I had to run up to Bobcat and get a new one of those, put that in there, and now it works great again. And there's also a metal line on here that has a ball bearing and a spring in it, and they have a habit of popping out and getting lodged in the metal line. And what would happen was I would go to move forward or backwards and the machine would not move. It was like the brake was on, it would not go. And again, you'd play with it, shut it off, start it back up again, and it would start to then it would move again. So there's a metal line here on the back side. Let's see if I can show you guys. Okay, so it's that line down there on the back side of it. It just runs down to itself again on kind of the face of it here. And what happens is on the top there's a ball and a spring inside of there, and it just gets shoved back into the line and it gets trapped. The ball's not small enough to go into the line. It just plugs the line up down inside here. And what all you need to do is just take that off and take that ball and that spring out of there and throw it in the trash. That's the fix for it. That's all they're going to do at Bobcat, and it's a real easy job. You don't lose a lot of fluid when you do it. Just put a towel in there, and when you loosen the line up, catch the little residual that leaks. It's real easy. It looks intimidating because it's underneath all this other spaghetti, but it's really not too bad. You can fish your arms kind of around and underneath, and I suggest laying a board up here with a pillow on it or something. A creeper with no wheels on it works really well. And look at some other stuff eventually in here. I'd like to replace the pedals assemblies or bushings or something. It's pretty rough. It still functions well, but I can see that it's going to need some attention. So we'll eventually service those, and we'll clean those up and get a fresh coat of paint on them if we have, unless we replace them. But replaced, there was a hose that was leaking on the bottom side of this release valve. That's an emergency release for the hydraulics. So when the machine's off, you can pull that, turn it and pull it up, and it releases all the hydraulics, so the arms would come down automatically. And on the bottom of that, there was a line that was leaking. Is actually that black and green hose right there. It's about 1.5 feet long, and it just was dripping. Not bad, but it was dripping, so we went ahead and changed it. And there was another leak somewhere on the back side of this valve body where that metal line that I was talking about is. It was wet back there. I've dried it off really well, and I'm gonna look and see if I can find out if it's still leaking or if it was just from old. But other than that, we're gonna try to use this machine to buy a property that needs worked, either cleared or filled in or dug out. That is the plan. Again, this is a T595. It's a 2020. There's a toolkit for capping these lines off if you're working on any hydraulics. If you have tractors or anything, you can go online and get this. It's just a standard GIC 37-inch or 37-degree flare. It's real handy. I would highly recommend it for doing any jobs on these. It's nice to be able to just throw some caps and everything. If you've ever worked on hydraulics, you know that the fluid will just run out of these hoses for forever until there's a huge puddle. And it's nice to keep them clean. Can't get any dirt or contamination in them when they're plugged up like that. Bugs can't get in there and make nests and dam things up for you. But yeah, so far it's been pretty easy to work on. Everything's been very manageable and serviceable on it. If anybody knows any other tips and tricks on these T595s, comment down below, or anything that you know is a common failure point, and we'll look and address it on this one if there is. But I think I might have been having an issue with the air was only blowing out of the lower vents, and there was no air coming out of the top vents. If anybody knows what kind of an issue we're looking at there, or a way to diagnose that on this HVAC. I'm not real familiar with how all the tubing and ductwork runs on these. And the blower motor was working. It was blowing out of the lower vents, but I had no air coming out of the top vents at all. I haven't had a chance to really look into that more, but if anybody knows, let me know in the comments. And I'm looking for a truck to pull this with. If anybody's got looking for like a Dodge or a Ram 25 or 3500, a 6.7 Cummins, I think is what they're, like a 2012 to 2018. If anybody's got something like that, let me know in the comments. I've got a E350 van, and it would probably pull it, but I think this van, I'd rather have a diesel if I was going to pull this Bobcat with it. And I got this service manual. I highly recommend it too. You can get these online. They're not very expensive for all the information that's inside of them. They're well worth it. You can learn a lot from these and online too. But yeah, just stay tuned. We'll see how everything goes. I'll let you guys know how this bobcat runs out.